Gio.
BT and Sal.
Kevin and Tiki.
Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan.
On the fan.
On the fan.
On the fan.
It's WFAN Daily, hosted by Pete Hoffman.
Welcome back to another episode of WFAN Daily with Pete Hoffman. That's right, baseball is back. It returned this weekend after what felt like a long week off of an all-star break that it didn't feel like it was ever going to end. But we're here. Baseball's back and excited to talk about some sports that actually took place. It was not the easiest of weekends for either team, but the Yankees ended up winning 2 of 3 versus the Braves. And let's start it off with Marcus Stroman, because a lot of people sit there and say Marcus Stroman's not a starting pitcher anymore. He has no place on this team. I still don't know if at the end, coming playoff time, if Marcus Stroman has a spot on this roster. Like last year, I don't really know if he really can give you deep innings, but you can't be unimpressed by what he did versus the Braves. I know it's the Braves. I know they've been struggling, but they still have talent. They still have some good players on that team. And he went 6 innings of scoreless baseball. Well, 1 run, sorry. Six innings of 1-run baseball. But regardless, 5 hits. He only had 5 hits, 4 Ks, 95 pitches. He was pretty phenomenal. And that 1 run was in the 6th inning. So he put on a show. He did his thing. Never really got into too much trouble. And that's what you're looking for in a starter when you right now have Max Fried, who's dealing with the blister. You have Luis Gil hasn't returned yet. Carlos Rodon has been, Carlos Rodon's been fantastic. I can't deny it, no matter how much I want to hate on the guy at times. He's been fantastic. But you still need extra starters in the rotation come playoff time. And it can't be just Fried and Rodon, and you don't know what Gil's going to be. And you look at a guy like Will Warren, who, again, struggled on Saturday. He has some really brilliant days, but in playoffs, are you going to rely on Will Warren at come playoff time? Probably not. So who are you going to trust? I think Marcus Stroman might actually have a bigger role with this team than anybody else thought. And all I heard about to start the season was get rid of Marcus Stroman. He may have some of the bigger outings on this Yankee team going forward, because if Marcus Stroman wasn't on this team, then who'd you go to? Then who would it be? Another bullpen game? Would you be starting Ian Hamilton again? I mean, come on. So Marcus Stroman is an asset right now, especially. And then come trade deadline, what are you going to do? Because you could do, kill 2 birds with 1 stone and go to Arizona and hope that they're out of the playoffs or playoff hunt and they believe that they're done and they're looking to sell. And you go for Zach Gallen and Eugenio Suarez and you give up a buttload to get those 2 guys in here and basically solidify your third base and solidify your rotation, because Zach Gallen, no matter how rough of a season he's had, he has Cy Young stuff. He's that good. He still can be that good. But if you're not going there, then where else are you going? Are you going bottom of the barrel? Like, we're going to get into the Mets a little bit. They like to go bottom of the barrel. Well, Marcus Stroman is above the bottom of the barrel right now. So you have to respect it. And you have to believe that he, at least the regular season, is going to give you some real good innings, real good outings. He's still going to fight. He always fights. That's what he's always done. He always battles. And you know what? He did a good job on Sunday for the Yankees, and you got to be happy about that. You got to be happy with what he gave the Yankees on Sunday. Again, 6 innings, 1-run ball. That's I mean, you talk about quality stuff. You talk about in baseball today where we are happy when starters can go 5 innings and give up 2 or 3 runs. Oh, you're in the game. 6 innings of 1-run ball. I mean, you give him a Cy Young for that one. And then you did have Ian Hamilton, Tim Hill, and Devin Williams gave up a run. I get it, but a home run. Both, again, by the way, both runs today off of solo home runs. One by Acuna Jr., one off of Matt Olson. I mean, what are you going to do, right? Like, that's going to happen. They're still good hitters. solo home runs are going to happen. They they minimized real damage, so that was good by them, the pitching staff. And again, the offense has been, I don't want to say clicking, but it's been better. Again, you ran through the Braves on Saturday because the fact is they threw a bullpen game, and the Yankees can run through a bullpen game. That's not a problem. You put a bunch of like scrubs out there, the Braves who are clearly deficient in bullpen. I mean, everybody's just backfiring. It doesn't make a difference who it is. Rosell Iglesias, their closer, he could. You talk about Devin Williams having a rough season, for Yankee fans. He really didn't. He had a rough April. Okay, you really had a bad April. And it was atrocious. Rosell Iglesias has had a bad season. He can't do anything right. He's had a couple moments, but he's lost his way. He really has. So, the Yankees can beat up on really bad pitching, and that's a good sign. You need that right now because in a long season with 63 games left now for the Yankees, they need to go and beat up on some really bad, if there's an opportunity to beat up on bad pitching, you got to do it. Because that's how you're going to stay in the playoff hunt. That's how you're going to stay in the AL East divisional race. You got to remember the Blue Jays are still ahead right now, and the Yankees have to find a way to get some help. And they can only do so much. They have to try to do it, but they have competition. All right. By the way, Aaron Judge. Let's do the Triple Crown. Let's do a little deep dive Triple Crown right here. So Aaron Judge, who hit another home run on Sunday, he's sitting at 36 right now. Again, Cal Raleigh, 38 home runs. Unbelievable what this guy's doing this season. But 36 home runs for Aaron Judge. Cal Raleigh, I don't think he's going to be able to withstand that. I truly don't. As a catcher, I can't imagine you being able to withstand a full season. Like, he may get 50 home runs for sure. I still think Aaron Judge can at any point in time crack 60. We've known that. We know he can get high 50s. There's no doubt about it. I can't imagine Cal Raleigh to really sit there and go deep into the season and be toe-to-toe with Aaron Judge. I just can't imagine that happening. It doesn't seem feasible. And it doesn't seem possible that Cal Raleigh can continue doing what he's doing. We've never seen another catcher do that before. We've seen catchers. We've seen Todd Hundley hit 40 home runs. We've seen another couple catchers hit 40-plus home runs who play, catcher every day. For Cal, though, I mean, God bless him if he can. I don't think that's happening. But overall, 36 home runs right now for Judge. His RBI total sits at 82, which is one away from Cal. And then his batting averages is at 352, which again, Jacob Wilson has taken, he's dropped down to 323. Jeremy Pena, who has been in the IL for a little bit, he's at 322. So you got Aaron Judge, who's still sitting pretty with 30 points higher than anybody else. It's looking pretty good right now for Judge with the batting average, not even having close to having any competition with that. It's just the home runs. It really is. And again, 38 to 36 right now, but I think eventually you're going to see Judge take off. And then the RBIs will come with it. So Triple Crown winner, I think the Yankees are going to have it right now. I really, truly do. Let's go to the Mets real quick because they had a nice ceremony on Saturday, but that was basically the best part about the entire weekend because even though they won on Sunday, even though they were able to get a tight 3-2 victory over the Reds, the baseball that was being played on Friday and Saturday was gross. So let's go to the good stuff. David Wright got his number retired, and it was an unbelievable celebration, unbelievable ceremony, and it's one of those things where I feel like the Mets got something right. I don't want to say that for the first time they got something right, but it feels like this may be the best moment for the Mets organization as a whole to put together one of these ceremonies because I'm not saying that Doc and Darryl was bad. I'm not saying that Keith Hernandez was bad, but it was so late in there, or so late after they had retired. And again, I've heard it from other people. If you listen to Rico Brunion, we did a podcast on it too, with Evan Robertson. He's like, this was the first ever one and only true Met who was retired, because all these other guys had left. Even Tom Seaver, everyone loves Tom Seaver as a Met fan, but even Seaver was not a career Met. David Wright was the only player to start his career with the Mets, finish his career with the Mets, and not go anywhere else. So that was extra special too. But also, I think that, David Wright's still young. He's 41 years old or whatever it is. I mean, he could have been playing right now if he was healthy, right? Like, I mean, if his back didn't give out, you just never know if David Wright's career would have been able to stay going forever. But his back was just basically done. And the connection with the Met fan for someone who just retired in 2018, I say just retired in 2018, that was 7 years ago, but not for nothing. 7 years ago is much more recent than when, like, Doc and Darryl, who we were talking about, who were Mets in the 80s and 90s. Like, that's a long time ago. Really, 80s, really, even late 80s. That's a long time ago. So to sit there and say that, where this meant more for the fans that were there, it kind of did. Not saying that we didn't appreciate Doc and Darryl and that we didn't appreciate Keith Hernandez, but this was our guy. This was David Wright was our face of the team for a long time. And it felt good to see him back at the stadium. You relive these highlights. And I remember talking to somebody this morning about, like, I watched it on TV and it was really incredible just to see all those highlights. And I forgot how awesome he was and how good he was. And for people that, don't really know David Wright or never really followed David Wright, or for all the young kids that maybe missed out on David Wright, like, you get to see that. But again, most of the Mets fans, it wasn't that long ago. You do remember these things. Even though it took a tribute video to refresh your memory, you do remember that it was there. You do remember that he was that good. You remember that he was Captain America. You remember all these home runs that he hit in big-time spots, that he get into the World Series, his first game at home in the World Series, he hits a home run. His return after in 2015, after being off for like 4 months because of his back, first bat back, he hits a home run. Like, you remember these moments ago. He was this freaking good. And it's so upsetting that he had his career shut down or cut short. Similar to Don Mattingly. They're neck and neck. Don Mattingly and David Wright, they may not have ever played against each other, but man, they are connected because they have very, very similar career paths. I know Don Mattingly clearly was the best in the 5-year span. Like, if you look at some of the things, he led the league in a lot of different stats. David Wright maybe never did that, but David Wright was great. He was a great player, was a Hall of Fame level player. And I still think that today, like, if you look at some of the other players that have made the Hall of Fame, I think that David Wright certainly could make it. Maybe not right now on these ballots, but maybe in the long run he'll find his way in the Hall of Fame. But definitely a Hall of Famer for the New York Mets, no doubt about it. Now, as far as the series goes with the Mets, they sucked. They lost 2 of 3 to the Reds. Offense was lackluster. They didn't really feel like they wanted to play and win this series. Brett Beatty was the only one he was 4 for 8, but he was the only one doing anything at all. Francisco Lindor went 0 for 14, which is unacceptable. The pitching was, okay. I mean, we talked about, I did my show on Saturday morning. We talked about Friday with, Showman and I go 4 innings and they bring in Carrillo or Cirillo or whatever the hell his name is. Guy who shouldn't be on the roster, shouldn't be pitching in those moments when it's a close game, it's 2-0, you have the lead, and he just completely set the Mets on fire. He gave the Reds every opportunity to just beat them down, and they did. And why is he in the game when it's a 4? When your starting pitcher can only go 4 innings? Why is Cirillo, the next guy up? It's embarrassing. And you've had 4 days off. You've had 4 legitimate days off. You're telling me that your bullpen is not ready, is not available, that your best bullpen pitchers aren't available in that spot when you're up in the 5th inning? That's the best you got? It's embarrassing. Truly is embarrassing. David Peterson pitched well on Sunday, but I mean, again, this is just a team right now who needs massive amount of help. And the biggest thing that's going to happen, the deadline is not that far away. And I'm telling you right now, David Stearns has got to wake up and he's got to start making moves, because you can't survive the next 10 days or 10 games of lackluster baseball. I mean, there's a possibility here. If you keep on playing terrible baseball, you might be seeing yourself on the tail end of the playoffs. And that is not acceptable. Not anymore. Not with what was promised from Cohen, from David Stearns. Unacceptable. So they need to start moving things now, moving the needles now. I know David Peterson got signed. David Robertson got signed by the Phillies. I'm not really that upset by that. I don't know what he's got left in the tank. He's a nice pitcher. There's obviously, he would have been an upgrade over other pitchers that are here right now. But on the other hand, too, like, that's not the level of pitcher the Mets need. They need. I mean, I saw something today about who is it? The guy in the Twins, Duran, whatever his name is. And that's an interesting target. There's a lot of good, solid pitchers, bullpen arms that are available during the trade deadline. There are just tons. So don't go to the bottom of the barrel. Don't go to like, oh, this guy, I'm going to test him out. He's having a bad season, but maybe we could fix him. Don't fix anybody. Don't worry about fixing anybody. Worry about getting the best available. Worry about getting somebody who can actually help be a mainstay on this team right now and take over the late innings of close games, 7th, 8th, 9th innings, because let's be serious, Reed Garrett's been struggling. Edwin Diaz had a rough game on Sunday. I mean, it wasn't all his fault, but there's been some issues. You had Ryan Stanek come in. That was nice, but I mean, how reliable is he? You need to have solid relief pitching. And to change the whole thing up, you know what you really have to do? You just got to go out and get a starting pitcher. Someone that can give you 6, 7, maybe even 8 innings a game. And I know David Peterson's the guy to do it. But I heard the stat. I think it was Gary Cohen that said it. I believe it was him. He said that the last 5 times that a Mets pitcher has gone deep into games, I think it was 6 or 7 or 8 innings, they were all done by David Peterson. That means that I don't even know how many starts that is in between. That means, but everybody who started between David Peterson hasn't gone that deep. They can't get to the 7th or 8th inning. It's embarrassing. That's terrible. And that's not going to help you win, especially when your bullpen is spent and not that good to begin with. And your offense, was supposed to be this reliable source of runs, is not doing enough. You're in a situation now where you have to at least stabilize something. And I think at this point in time, you got Manaea back, but you got to see how deep he can go into games. You got Senga back, and we'll see how long he can go in deep in games he can go. You got Peterson. Frankie Montas, you're not getting more than 5 innings. Clay Holmes may go back to the bullpen. He may be that bullpen arm that we've been talking about, because at this point in time, he's a 5-inning pitcher, and he's pitched more innings than he ever has in his career. What are we doing? What are we thinking? It's time to get a top-level starting pitcher to come in and help alleviate, because you're going to now have to win games 3-2, 2-1. You're going to have to go through these games that you didn't expect because your offense sucks. plain as day, they stink. They are not good. And it is a tough sell right now when Francisco Lindor goes over 14, when Juan Soto goes one hit in 3 games. His hit is a solo home run. That's great, but runners in scoring position, this team continues to just bury themselves. So you have too many issues. You got to solidify at least one area, and that should cover both the starting pitching and the bullpen. Just get me one top-level starting pitcher. That should be able to cover both ends of it. So we have a ton to get into this week. Football's coming back soon. Let's go. I think the teams are returning very, very, very soon. So we get some football talk going on as well. And the trade deadline talk is going to start picking up as we are about 11 days away from the trade deadline. So it's going to be very fun. And obviously the Mets and Yankees have to win to even be thinking about adding to their team. But thank you again for listening to another episode of WFAN Daily. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and tune in tomorrow. 6 to 10, you got Boomer and Gio. 10 to 2, you got BT and Sal. 2 to 6:30, you got Evan and Tiki. Yes, Evan is returning from his long getaway. You got Keith McPherson, you got Chris McMonagle, you got all that stuff. And don't forget the Odyssey app. If you miss anything at all, it's all there. So go check that out. But again, like, subscribe, WFAN Daily with Pete Hoffman. Again, follow me at Hoff WFAN on social media. I appreciate you guys for checking this out now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.